What is good, Lions fans? Welcome back to another video, and I have something pretty interesting, but it shouldn't be a super long video. We are basically going to be explaining and really looking into detail on that Detroit Lions play that was apparently a timeout before it even happened. So let's get right into the video. You guys all know what the play I'm talking about. The big play, the play that really would have changed the game, the play that would have sealed the game for us. I think J.D. McKissic would have scored a touchdown. I mean, we all know the play, okay? So basically, I'll run through real quick if you don't know. I'll try to give my little illustration, put on my Stafford hat real quick. So basically, Stafford's right here, you know, he's like making some audibles, doing whatever. The play clock is running down. It's running down. It is a 3rd and 5. If the Lions get the first down, the game's probably over, and none of the overtime, none of that wild stuff happens. But the clock's ticking, right? So Stafford's out there, right? He's got it. Calls the play. I guess he audibles to his play, snaps it, throws it off to J.D. McKissic because the blitz is coming. The Arizona Cardinals bring pretty much everybody. They all out blitz that. Stafford gets off like last second to McKissic and he's gone, right? And everybody stops playing and it's like, wait, what's going on? What's going on here? Why is everybody stopping? Turns out the Lions called a timeout. Stafford then is not very happy. Now, this isn't the part where he starts yelling yet because, you know, third down hasn't happened yet. But Lions called timeout and it's like, oh my good, he would have been gone, right? He would have been gone. So they go over to the sideline, they run up a new play. Stafford gets back out there, they snap it, throws deep pass to Kenny Golladay, incomplete. And Stafford is losing his mind. And all we see on the sideline is him yelling, trust me, trust me. Now there may have been some bad language in there, I'm not going to say any of that, but basically he said trust me, okay? Now he walked past Matt Patricia, we don't know if he was really saying this to Matt Patricia or Darrell Bevell. Fact is he said trust me, and I think he was basically saying to both the guys because you'll hear why in a second. So basically, this is my interpretation of what went down. So apparently Darrell Bevell is the guy that called the timeout. I think we all saw it in the replay. Darrell Bevell called the timeout right before Stafford snapped it. Now again, it was a 3rd and 5. Keep that in mind. Lions get the first here, it's probably over. So in Darrell Bevell's mind, you would think this makes sense, right? Why not try to run the best play out there? I don't want to get a delay of game, right? It's a 3rd and 5. A 3rd and 10 is a way different situation. So let's call the timeout. Keep from getting a delay of game, and we'll set up a play that'll get us the first down. Okay, so we call that timeout. That would have been okay if we would have got the first down. The problem is we didn't. We threw an incomplete pass. But apparently, Matt Patricia said after the game, he ordered Darrell Bevell to call the timeout. So I guess Matt Patricia's the guy, he says he's in charge of timeouts. He really says right here, Patricia calls timeouts. Very simply. So I guess Matt Patricia, whether he's taking the blame or not, now we know he's taking the blame here. Whether it's true or not, he says that he ordered Darrell Bevell. Now, did Matt Patricia really order Darrell Bevell, or is he just taking the fall because he's the head coach and that's what he's supposed to do? I'm not sure here. But let's take his word for it. He orders Darrell Bevell to call that timeout, right? Because Matt Patricia wants to make sure they get the first, so he calls the timeout. That's not what had Stafford as mad, is the fact that they went back out there, threw an incomplete pass. Now he's frustrated because he knew he had a play. And Matthew Stafford, being an 11-year veteran, wants them to trust him to go make that last play. Now, I can understand both point of views. Matthew Stafford has a legitimate argument, and especially in hindsight, he had the best argument. You should trust Matthew Stafford. He is your quarterback. He's your franchise quarterback. You said it. Trust that man. But they called a timeout, and I don't know if that was much not trusting him. I think maybe it was, look, I don't want to get the delay of game, because I guess basically what they said was they were worried about getting the delay of game penalty, so they called a timeout because a 3rd and 10 is a lot worse than 3rd and 5. So it wasn't necessarily about the play that Matthew Stafford went to, it's the fact that they didn't want to get a delay of game and move him back 5 yards. But Matthew Stafford said, trust me, look, man, I knew the clock, I knew the situation, we would have been fine. So I guess Matt Patricia says we just have to execute better. Now, we've heard this before from everybody. Matthew Stafford, execute better. We have to execute better. We have to execute better. That's literally all they say in their conferences. But again, that's what they're supposed to say. They're not going to say much more than that. But at the same time, I also have to kind of push back a little bit here. The Lions were kind of in an unfortunate situation. They weren't expecting to, even if they get a block punt. Okay, not only did the Lions not get it, but they blocked Sam Martin's punt, which made it go super short, like 15, 20 yards. And that definitely didn't help out the cause. So the Cardinals were in good position to score, which they did. But at the same time, I just kind of want to hear your thoughts, comments below. Should the Lions... Now look, everybody could possibly say at this point, yes, you should have trusted Matthew Stafford. But I know there's a lot of y'all out there that want to say Stafford isn't good, and I'm not with you guys on that one. So those people that want to say Stafford isn't good and he's not clutch or whatever, I also don't want to come hear you in the comments saying, yeah, you should have trusted Stafford, all right? Unless you give me a good argument why. Basically, we can all tell at this point they should have trusted Stafford. They should have went with the regular play that he had. At the same time, it doesn't seem to me like necessarily they called the timeout to switch his play. just because they wanted to make sure he got the playoff in time. So I just want to give that to you guys. I guess that's the explanation we have got for why they called the timeout. Guys, have any questions, let me know in the comments. You guys have your thoughts, let me know in the comments. Just wanted to kind of break that down a little bit for you guys. Appreciate y'all for stopping in. We will have a Chargers versus Lions preview coming up soon. Also, I may go live tonight to commentate the Saints game, okay? So if you guys want to be there for that, make sure you do that. But I may title it differently, that way YouTube doesn't do its stupid stuff that it's been doing recently, and then change the title once live stream starts, okay? So be ready for that. Game starts around 7 o'clock tonight. Anyways, thank you, Prof, for watching, and I'm out.